Okay. I think I'm gonna have network glitch. All right, good evening, everyone. How are you doing this lovely Monday evening? Good evening. My name is Maribeth Shima. So I sent a post earlier that I was going to come live, and that's because we had we had this session in the morning, our usual time. Sorry, at 1 p.m. That is our usual time that we have the Skill Up show. However, we had a lot of glitches in the morning. I mean, at 1 o'clock, there was network, there was just a lot of issues going on there, and all that. And for some reason, we didn't get on, on Facebook. And of course, our Facebook audience are very important to us. Our Facebook audience are very important to us, and we had sent announcement that we're going to have this session. All right, so this is the reason we are here this evening. I'm just going to go through, what we plan to talk about at the Skill Up show at 1 p.m. today. Okay, so let's wrap this up in a short time. All right, so as I said, we had a lot of technical glitches in the morning, and the whole session was just all over the place. All right, so today we're talking about how we can teach our children to set personal boundaries, right? How we can teach our children to understand their personal space and then be able to set boundaries for themselves. And I said, I would like to say that if our children are going to learn this, then we have to first model this to them. We have to help them understand what boundaries are in the first place and why they need to set boundaries. We have to help them understand in the first place what personal space is and why it's important that they respect other people's spaces and so insist on their spaces or their boundaries being respected also. So these are very key things that we must put into our children's education, even as we are educating them. All right. So as kids grow into social maturity, right? As they mature into society, we must teach them how to respect boundaries and how to set some boundaries for themselves. It's our responsibilities as parents. Now, we notice that what we do a lot of times, right from when they are young, is we keep telling them, oh, you need to knock on the door before you get in. You need to take your plates, and when you're done eating, you must take your plates, you wash them. There are certain rules that we introduce quite early in their lives, and these rules are very okay. They are actually the foundation, basically, that our children know what is acceptable. They know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. They know what we expect of them at different times. Now, the thing that is not okay is the fact that a lot of us as parents leave it there. We don't learn to up the game or to introduce our children to more even as they grow older. What we have noticed is some parents have, hi Chidima, how are you doing? So what I've noticed is, as parents, we have certain things that we introduce to our children. But because we do not understand the place of setting parenting goals and plans, for setting some sort of a curriculum for whatever area of parenting that we're doing, what happens is we teach them certain basic things and we don't know how to increase the tempo or how to make it age appropriate so that if they are learning this between when they are 0 and 5 or 6, for instance, by the time they are 7, you up the game and you're teaching them more advanced things in that area. By the time they are 12 and 13, you should advance what you're teaching them in that area. So age appropriateness is very key in parenting. Okay, and if you are not creating plans and you do not have a scope, you will realize that you will continue to teach your children the same thing. You are telling your 3-year-old, have you greeted? At 5, you're still asking them, have you greeted? At 10, even at 18, you're still asking your 18-year-old, are you greeted? Because somehow we have not come to the point where our children understand these things at a deeper level. So that's why we say create parenting plans, okay? Create some sort of curriculum. Let's help you create all of these things. When you walk in an accountability system, you realize that you will up your game because at every point you are thinking parenting and you're thinking of how to get better. And because you can track your journey, Yes, because you have it recorded. You can track your journey. You now know what you have done already. And when you need to, increase what you're doing, or you need to make it more advanced. And these things are very, very key, so that we are not stagnated, or we are not teaching the same lesson, over and over again, to the point that we become a broken record. Before you even say, they roll their eyes like, yeah, I've heard this thing over and over again. Okay, so it's important that we teach them all of these things. We teach them, and then we up the game as they grow older. Okay, I said, sadly, these rules are the only boundaries. So we just put rules, and these rules become the only boundaries that our children know. So let's make an attempt, to define what boundaries are. Okay, I say here that boundaries are the limits and invisible lines that we set for ourselves as human beings. Okay, so they are that line that you set for yourselves. They are things we feel comfortable with, and we expect other people to, we expect of other people. Okay, so they form the expectations that we have of other people, basically, when they are in our face or when they are interacting with us. And it is very key that we know this, that we have this. Okay, I was talking to the children at the Mastermind Circle. So the Mastermind Circle is a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for children ages 6 to 14. And in their morning talk, I give them a pep talk, like, I send them a voice note every morning to charge them up. Okay, I said to them this morning that, you are like, they should liken themselves to a good something, commodity now, or something, in the shop when you go into the store. Okay, liken yourself to an item in that store. Okay, when you walk into the store, you will see items and you will see price tags on those items. What happens is, if you want any of those items, for instance, you have a pack of cornflakes, you want a pack of cornflakes, or you want a pack of milk or something like that. What you see is, you walk up to that item, you pick it up, and you will see the price tag on that item. Now, whatever the price tag is for that item is what you walk down to the cashier to pay for it if you want it. Now, if you do not want it, or you think that the price is too high, what happens? You move, you drop it and you move, isn't it? You move to what you can afford, or you move to what you think is at your level, or something like that. If you are looking for low price things, there is a table. There's usually the aisle, okay, for low price things. You go there and you see if you can get that same product, probably because it's about to expire, or for there's a factory, fault or something. You can probably get it at the lower level. But hey, if you're going to get something that is excellent, this particular thing, that's the price tag. You don't go pricing it. You pick it and then you pay for it. So that's the same way I told them. That's the same way each of them is supposed to tag themselves. This is who I am. These are my boundaries. This is what I stand for, and all of that. And so the people who cannot afford to respect your boundary, or cannot afford the tag that you have placed on yourself, will do what? They will turn the other way and they will walk away. Now, these things are very important, and these are the things that we will teach our children as they grow older. Okay? Now, I also said that the boundaries that we set for ourselves help us to keep our relationships healthy. Yes. So I know that, okay, you don't touch me you don't touch me this way because I don't like it, and all of that. And I communicate this through you. So what happens is, the person understands it, and that becomes your imaginary line. This is it. You can't cross this this part. Okay, this point. I remember when I was in school, I said that earlier. I remember when I was in school, I have this friend that, jokingly, I think it was normal for her, okay, when she's talking to you, or when she's having an argument with you, something as simple as just a normal conversation, she goes like, idiot, fool, bastard. As in, she doesn't have a problem with calling you a fool. And what I came to realize was, it was normal. It was normal. You can actually step on her mistakenly, and you're like, oh, sorry. And she laughs about it, and she's like, look at this fool. Now, because that didn't go down well with me, because I don't know this, right? I don't know this. It's not as if anybody taught me to create those kind of boundaries at the time. It was just simple. It just didn't go down with whether it's my ego or whatever. It's not what I know. So I had to tell her, no, it's not working. I don't like it. Don't call me that, So she had to start, working on it. She had to start working on it, and she had to look for something to replace, every time she wants to just go that way. Now, this is me setting boundaries as okay, we can be friends, we can laugh, we can do all of that. But hey, let the joke stop in you. I mean, let it stop that line. Don't cross the line where I become a fool and a bastard because we are having, fun or whatever. So you will see people who have those kind of conversations or who joke like that, friends, and they call themselves, oh, idiot, bastard, so what is it for you? What is okay for you? So we should teach our children to understand these boundaries and then know how to place them and communicate this to the people that they have relationships with. All right? They help them to live balanced lives because I understand that this is how far it goes. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I can't see your name. All right. So because I understand that this is how far it goes, this is where we have to stop. We don't cross this. So the other person understands it and I understand. And the good thing about people who know how to set boundaries for themselves and respect boundaries is they know how to respect other people's boundaries also. So with this, you're able to set a balance in your relationship. You know what is crossable, what isn't crossable, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. Very, very key if you are raising children who you want to be excellent in their behavior and children who know who they are. Boundaries help us identify ourselves. It helps us place a demand on the people in our relationship as to what goes for us. Okay? It helps you become self-aware. All right? Boundaries will help you keep yourself, okay? It will help you keep yourself as a priority. It makes you place yourself as a priority in your relationship. You are a priority in your relationship. And this is not being proud. This is self-preservation. It is not the same thing as being selfish. No. It's at all times you are not going to reduce yourself so that you can make another person happy. It's different from being sacrificed and different from being selfish. No, it's I am not going to be less just because I need you to be. I don't know, but basically it helps you place yourself a priority on yourself. All right, and then of course it helps you also understand other people's needs. Yes, because if you're going to place your needs and expect other people to understand and respect your needs, then you would also be someone who is able to understand other people's needs. So you understand their needs and all of that. Now, this is a series, and I'm going to be talking about boundaries and helping our children learn boundaries, okay, in the next 3-4 weeks, okay? So we are going to take different aspects of this, for each week. Now, this week, let's look at how we can introduce boundaries to our little children. How can you introduce boundaries to your babies and toddlers and young children? How can you introduce boundaries to your children 0 to say 7 years? Okay, and this can actually apply even for your older children if they don't understand boundaries yet and you've not had this conversation before. Boundaries are boundaries, and once a child understands boundaries, when a child understands boundaries, how to set their boundaries, okay, and how to respect other people's boundaries, you have given them a life tool, a life skill that they would use forever, and it's really very important. All right, so how can we do this with our young children? The first thing you want to do is to introduce empathy. You have to help your children understand the place of empathy. If they are going to understand boundaries, personal space, how to keep them or how to demand them from other people and how to respect other people's nice hands, okay? If you're going to make them respect other people's boundaries and okay, if you're going to understand, yes, we don't shout, we use room voice, okay? We even call it the voiceometer in my home, okay? So I say to you, level 1 or level 2. You cannot go beyond level 2. Level 2 is what you use. By the time you move to level 3, I ask you, are you using level 3 with me? Okay, so you have to set these boundaries. They need to see it, they need to know it, they need to understand it. All right, so with your young children, the first thing you want to do is you want to introduce empathy. Okay, let me add this, dear parents, that Boundaries, okay, empathy rather. Empathy is something, is a skill that your children learn 99% from your home. 99% of empathy is learned from home. It is learned in the way you relate with your children. It is learned with in the way that you regulate your emotions. It is learned from the way that you respond to other people in your environment. Empathy is taught in the home through the way your home, through the what do you call it, the stability, right? The stability in your home, how you regulate yourself as a parent, how you respond to the needs of your child, and how you relate to your children. This is how empathy is born, or this is how empathy is taught in your home. Now, empathy, things like empathy, emotional regulation, even cognitive ability and all of that is actually controlled by the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Now, the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that controls all of this, all of this part of your actions, basically. And that part of the brain depends on your relationship with the child for it to develop effectively. Yes. Okay. So it is the brain on its own is a relational organ, and so the development of the brain is as a result of how the positive experiences that our children have from us, especially those of us who are their primary caregivers. So if you learn, or if you are a parent who knows how to regulate, it means that the experience that you will be giving your child will be one of regulation. So you are able to attend to their emotional needs, you are able to attend to their needs calmly. And every time you do this, there is a release of the happy hormone into the child's brain, the hormones that actually help in the development of the prefrontal cortex. However, when you are not calm and you are not relating in a positive way with the child, what happens is you release you make the brain release the stress hormones into the child's system, and that inhibits the growth of the prefrontal cortex. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that is responsible for emotional control, intelligence, building relationships, all of these wonderful things that your children will need to navigate as wholesome people. So yes, the brain is a relational organ and it's dependent. So empathy is right from that part of the brain. So if your child is going to learn empathy, it's going to be from how you relate to that child. How do you respond to your child's needs? Are you the parents that would wait for them to throw a tantrum? When they throw a tantrum, you begin to yell and shout and all of that. When you do that, you are not helping them to learn regulation, of course, and you are not teaching them how to respond to other people's needs, okay, and how to be kind. So the first thing you want to do with empathy, you want to help your children become aware of other people's feelings, okay, and the role that they play in those feelings. You want to help them recognize the role that they play in other people's feelings, or the role that even other people, it may not even be there. Okay, so you have your toddler, your 3-year-old, and your 3-year-old has his friend who is crying. You want to point your 3-year-old to his friend. Oh, look at Josh, he's crying. Why do you think that Josh is crying? Okay, and he's able to say, oh, it's because Miss Mary took his toy, or Miss Mary did this, or this happened to him, and all of that. Now, what you are doing is you are pointing your child to recognize and be aware of another person's feeling. Now, the next thing you want to do, you want to ask him, is there anything that you can do to make Josh feel better? Is there anything that you can do to help Josh? Is there anything that you can do to support Josh at this point? What you are doing is you're helping your child see another human being and feel what the person is feeling, putting himself in the person's shoe at that point, and seeing himself as someone that can be helpful to help the person get out of this bad feeling. It is very important. Most parents, when their children fall, the first thing they say is good for you. Exactly. Very terrible thing. Very, very terrible thing. Yeah, when you look around and you see the mess that we have around, people who would do things that they should hide their head, and they are not able to hide their head. I tell you, the problem is because of the way the people who raised them, the people who nurtured, that are supposed to have nurtured them, because of the way we responded to them without empathy, That's why you see them comfortable when other people are in pain, because they were in pain and you told them good for you. You showed no empathy. So this is how they grow, showing no empathy, because hey, what is it that you felt? Is it a big deal? I mean, just move and get out of there. Some will even fall and they will beat them on top. And hey, I told you not to go there, pow, 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 and all of this. So when you do this, you are satisfying your irresponsible adult emotions, okay, that you don't have control over. That's what you are doing as an adult who has already lived half their lives anyway. But you are damaging someone who has the rest of their life before that. You are damaging a child, okay, and you are not helping that child develop a skill that is important to every aspect of their lives. Yes, every aspect of their life, their relationship in the future with their spouses, with their employers, with their employees, their relationship with their business partners, every aspect of their life, how they can impact the world. You are stifling and killing a part of a child, right? Just because you need to take care of your emotions that you don't even know how to control. All right, so we need to be careful as parents. Recognize when they show what acts of empathy to someone and all. Yes, very, very key. These things are very important. All right, so that's the first thing. You want to help them recognize other people's, feelings for time and how they contribute to it. Now, it could be that your child is playing with his friend and he yanks his toy from his friend's hand and Monica starts crying. Oh, okay, what happened? Why is Monica crying? Because I took my toy. Oh, okay. All right. Do you see? Would you feel happy if Monica yanks her toy like that from you? Yeah or no and all that. But I want to play with the toy. Okay. Is there anything you can do to make Monica feel better? Okay. For instance, can you let her have a turn later or something like that? Okay. Is there something you do? So you will find that the child is able to think and he say, okay, I'll give it to her later. Okay, could tell her that. So the child goes to Monica and is saying, okay, Monica, I'm going to give you later. Okay. You have taught the child how to help someone who is going through a situation, going through, a problem at the time. You have helped the child learn how to resolve a conflict. You have helped the child show empathy to another child. Then the second thing you want to do, the second part of that is you also want your child to be in tune with his own feelings. Okay, you want your child to be able to recognize his own feeling and not neglect his own feeling, because his feelings are also very important. So it's not your place to say, come on, go and give the toy to Monica. What is wrong with you? Don't you always have it? No, parents, no, that's wrong on its own, because this is how we cause wahala for our children. We keep telling them to put themselves second place and make sure every other person is okay. So no wonder they get older, they get into relationships and they are there, they forget themselves, they lose themselves in their relationships and put the other people ahead. And before you know it, they lose their lives or they lose themselves completely, because they feel it is their responsibility to save everybody, save the world, save everything. No, you need to help your children understand that their own, what's the word now? You need to make them make them comfortable with their own feelings and know that their feelings are also valid. I said when I was defining boundaries, I said that your children, boundaries help your children place themselves as priority. Okay, so do not force your 0 to 4-year-olds, even your 5-year-olds. Do not force them to share their toys when they are not ready to share their toys. Give them reasons why they need to share their toy when they are ready to share their toy. Teach them how to share with other people, but don't force them to do that. Because when you force them to do that, you're saying to them, you are second. You come in second place. Okay, make sure every other person is. All right, so you're saying to them, make sure every other person is okay. You come second. No, don't give children with them. Make them them understand that, okay, sharing is a beautiful thing, and then get them to the point where they understand this. And as they grow older, they will begin to share with other people. No, your children are not for you to use and entertain your guests when they come. Oh, they came with a child, and so your child should take everything that he wants to do and hand it to the guest. No, they are not the soft drinks and the chin chin that you offer to your guests when your guests come. Let them be children and let them understand. Let them be able to create their boundaries. Let them share when they are. You are teaching them not for just the now. You're teaching them to set boundaries, to know what they want, to recognize what they want, okay, and then yes, recognize what they want per time, and not, they should not bury their feelings just because they want to allow other people to express their own, if you know what I'm saying. But as I said, it's important that you now use this and teach them, okay, and make them understand why they need to be kind to other people, share with other people. And as you do this, they will come to the point where they begin to recognize this. But hey, it is important to understand that your 4-year-old is not wired to make other people happy when it is not happy. Please, that is the milestone. That's where they are at. Okay, a time will come, you will notice, even at that age, there are times that they actually want to just give their toy to the next person on their own volition. Okay, it even tells you how far you have done. Yes, it tells you how much work you have done in teaching them empathy, all the devotional, all the praying, all the gist, all the talking, all the example, modeling. Okay, model this thing as a parent, model it to your children, and you realize sharing becomes an easy thing, not because they are forced to share. All right. So the number 2 thing you need to do is, you need to address negative behavior, okay, immediately, and set boundaries for what is acceptable and not acceptable. So for your babies, your preteens, okay, your babies, your toddlers, your young children, make sure that you set the boundaries for what is acceptable and not acceptable in your home. Okay, let it be known and let it be established. Do not be all over the place about this. Let it be known, let it be established that this is what is acceptable and this is what is not acceptable. So I say this to people as a rule. My children have never hit me before. Not when they were 1, not when they were 2. Because from day 1, that boundary has been set. You are not allowed to express yourself that way. So yes, tantrums are a given, because when children are toddlers, they don't have the vocabulary. Yeah, they don't have the vocabulary. They don't have the vocabulary for expression, for full expressions and all of that. So what happens is, when they are frustrated, they are going to throw a tantrum. Now it takes you being present as a parent and paying attention to your child's moods and and the things that trigger them. All right, if you're able to pay attention to your toddlers, what triggers them and all of that, and you attend to their needs early, you will realize it doesn't spiral to the point where they begin to throw a tantrum, okay, or bad tantrums like that. So what I would do is, when you are at that point, I will come close to you, come to your level, and hold your 2 hands and say to you, you need to talk to mommy. You need to tell me what you need. I cannot help you if you don't tell me. So I need you to give me a thumbs up, okay, if I say what you need. Do you want snack? Or this? Do you want this? I will go that way over and over and over again. And it will shock you that I do this with the children right from when they cannot even talk. Okay, so you are crying. I don't know, maybe because it's me. I speak to children from day 1, like we are having a conversation. I talk to you, okay, as if we're having a conversation. I did a couple of things with my son, I didn't get it right. But with my daughter, she's not expressive out of the blue. She's expressive because she was expressed to. I don't know how to put it. Okay. So we have conversation all the time. You're crying, sweetie. What is wrong with you? Is it your diaper? I'm checking the diaper. Is it your diaper? Is it this? Is it that? Okay. See, parenting is a full-time job. It's a full-time job, okay, and it's in the foundation. Our success is in the foundation. Our success is in the job that we put into it in the first 7 years of the child's life. That's the truth about it. As I'm saying this, it may sound like it's unrealistic, but it's doable. I promise you, it's doable. Okay, so So if you do this, and if you learn to tell the people who mind your children to respond to their need, okay, before they spiral out of control. So the child is beginning to, get agitated. You want to go to their level and find out what it is that is wrong with them. My children don't hit me, and they don't hit anybody who attends to them. The moment you're like, I will hold your two hands, okay, and I will say to you, you need to talk to me. You cannot hit anybody. We use our mouth, we speak, and we express what we need. You do not hitting does not solve a problem. And right from when the children are very young, we say to them every time, yes is an answer, no. In fact, we teach our children to say this. So my daughter is sleeping. If I will call her to tell you, she will tell you, yes is an answer, no is an answer. Anyone you get is just fine. Yes is an answer. So it is done that way. Yes is an answer, no is an answer. Anyone you get for the situation is okay, because there are times that mommy needs to say no to you, and that's the best decision that mommy is making for you at that time. There are times that mommy will show you love, or the way that mommy will love you at a particular time is by saying no to you. Because if mommy says yes to you at that time, mommy will be destroying you. Okay, so sometimes no will be the best answer, okay, and sometimes yes will be the best answer. So as a parent, you just want to balance it so that you are not always saying no to your children. So set the standards. There's another one we do. Our children know when you walk into the store, you walk into the supermarket, you can't just pick anything and ask me to buy, okay? Because it's been established that we have our priority list. So when our children want to ask for things like a bicycle and things like that, you get them say, mommy, please, can you, my daughter especially will tell you, can you put a bicycle in your list? I have it in my wish list. Okay, now she has a bicycle, her junior bicycle that she's been using. Now she wants one without a training wheel. Now that's what she has put on her wish list, and it was there before her birthday. Okay, so she asked us at some point, can you put it on the wish list? Okay, or put it on your list. Okay, and then they understand in my home that whatever you're getting at the time is because that thing is priority. So we put it on the list, and the list, we cancel out the list based on priority. So it's very easy to say to the children without having to say to them, I don't have money, I am broke. You think one is easy? No. We want to be positive. The money mindset is of abundance and not of scarcity. So don't be the one that preaches scarcity to your children. The Bible says that we should go, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. So it says that we will bless the works of our hands, and everything that we place them on shall prosper. Okay, you have a God, and you want your children to know that your God is a God that is faithful and all of that. So yes, that you don't have a thing at a time is not that you will not have it. But hey, we can't have everything that you want in this world now. Do you know the kind of car I want to drive right now? Okay, do you know the kind of car I want to drive right now? So we can't have everything. And even the richest people in the world, even Elon Musk does not have everything in the world, isn't it? So you say to your children, at every point there is something that is a priority, and we're going to deal with things based on what is priority. So the simple answer we say to them is, oh, this isn't priority right now. Okay, we will deal with it when it becomes a priority. So the question our children ask is, mommy, can I get my bicycle? Is it a priority now? Oh, no, it's still down on the list. Something like that, because everybody's wish is on that list, and everybody is important, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. So when we walk into a store, it's simple. They either have a list that they're shopping from, or we have a general list that we're shopping from. So the kind of question you hear our children say is, mommy, when we come back next time, can I have this? These are the kind of questions that they ask when they go to the supermarket. Before we leave the home, it's simple. When we go there, can we have ice cream? We have these conversations before we leave. You see us getting into the car to go out, and they're asking, mommy, can we have ice cream when we go shopping today? Or mommy, can we have popcorn? Can we have this? Can we have that? Daddy, can we have this? Can we have that? And it's established, oh, no, you're not going to have. No, okay, yes, we can do that, and all of that. So they get in there and they see something out of the blue, something really nice. Mom, please, next time we come, can I buy this? Something. If you can buy it now from your money, go ahead and buy. If not, but if I'm the one that will have to buy it, you can put me under pressure. So we know this. Now, this is not to say that from time to time we don't surprise our children, or from time to time we go to the store, we just see something nice, they like it or that. Okay, you know something? Oh, we're done. You can pick that thing you wanted. But they never put you under pressure, because what? These boundaries have been set from day one. We understand, they know the line that they can't cross. I promise you, I tell you, none of my kids has ever thrown a tantrum in a supermarket or a store. Never, ever, 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 ever. It's never happened. All right. So set the boundaries, and it's not because we are the world's best parents. It's not because our children are the best behaved children in the world. It's simple because we know our boundaries. We have set them. We have agreed on them. We have established them, and that is it. Because, for instance, today we have to create some new rules. Okay, I had a nap, woke up, and then I came out. When I came out, they had eaten and they left the food on the table and all of that. And I'm like, you know something? I've been saying pack this every time. Okay, today let's set a boundary on this. I told them and I said to them, what's the best consequence for this? Set it. Anybody that eats and doesn't clear up immediately, it could just be bread, you just made a sandwich and all of that, but you can't finish with your sandwich and leave it here. Clear up. I've said this over and over again. And I said to them, decide what's the best one. And they started, throwing things here, there, here, there. Eventually, we agreed. If you do that, you lose your screen time for that day. Simply because, of course, again, this is also the summer. And so they will have screen time during the summer. But they already agreed, if I do it, I will lose my screen time. And that's it. We have agreed, they've agreed. So the next time they do this and I say, no screen time, there will be no argument. Are you okay? Good. Sorry, my daughter is having... Sorry. All right, so the next time there will be no argument about it. It's been established. Just go and sleep. Just go and sleep. Sorry about this, okay? Okay? Chidima, Ada was studying and she dozed off. She was actually writing her report and she dozed off. Okay, so I've just told her to go in and just go ahead and sleep. All right. So basically, that's it. Right. So establish this, let it be known, and let the children be on the same page with you. Okay, the next one, let's go quickly, the last three. The next one is help them to know about personal space, and then, of course, teach them social skills, give them social training. Okay, so for instance, I was saying earlier that when I'm having conversations, I realize at some point I'm having conversations with people and the kids will butt in. Okay, I'm having a conversation with a friend and from nowhere they show up and then they butt into the conversation because they want to say something to me. Mommy, please can I? So we had to work on that. So we worked on that. I'm like, okay, this is how it goes. When you want to butt in or you really, if it's something that I really need to attend to at the time, come in and go, excuse me, Auntie Tonya, please, can I have a word with my mom? All right, can I have a word with my mom? When you do this, what have you done? You've respected the other adults that I'm having a conversation with. You've respected them, respected the fact that they are there, and I'm not butting into your conversation. I've taken a so any adult will feel respected that way. Right. So you do this. As they do this on and on, you realize that they will make demands this way when they have people, that are constantly butting into their conversations. They will actually say, please, they would know what to expect, okay, from other people, or they know what boundaries to set, basically. Because you modeled the right boundaries and you taught them the right boundaries and you taught them to respect other people. People who respect other people know how to demand to be respected. That's what we are trying to say. All right, so teach your children these social graces or social training. Give them the social training, basically. Thank you very much, ma'am. All right, love you right back. All right, so give them the social training, and all of that. Let your children learn to make two layer, 3-layer conversations. Okay, they see you, they see a friend of the family come in, oh, good evening, man, how are you doing today? I'm fine, thank you. And you? Would you like me to give you a glass of water or something? Teach your children to have this kind of conversations, this level of conversation. Teach your children how to have a firm handshake, okay, when the adults offer their hand. Then, all right, teach them what not to do. I mean, you are with adults, all right, you want to curtsy, you want to do a little bow or something, okay, based on whatever your values are, whatever your culture, tradition is. Okay, my son will do a little bow, trying to go down, go down below his knee. So, not go down. He will do a little bow with his hand, up. below his knee level. He will do a little bow and then, of course, ask you how you are doing. Our daughter will do a little curtsy and then ask you how you are doing, basically. Okay, and then if you offer them a hand, we have taught them to take the hand and give you a firm handshake. What are they doing? They are respecting you as an adult, and that way, adults know how to respect children like this. You are setting the stage for them to know how to respect other people so that they can demand to be respected also by other people. All right, number 4, set boundaries on how they can respond in your home, how they can respond to each other. Parents, do not accept that your children throw words around in your home, talk to people carelessly, and all of that. If you let them talk to each other carelessly, one day it will move to talking to you carelessly. So that's what Chidma was saying about, the voice level. In our home, it's called a voice meter. Your voice meter cannot go beyond level 2. Level 2 is what you use when you're having conversations with anybody. Don't raise your children know. I tell them every day, it doesn't matter whether you are 5, 10, 12, 18. You will never raise your voice at me. It doesn't matter whether you are the president of Nigeria or the president of the United States of America. You will never raise your voice at any of us. Respect is a non-negotiable, okay? Mutual respect is a non-negotiable thing in our home. So it's unacceptable. So our daughter knows you cannot. Why the other day I was telling her, no, it's not acceptable. You can't roll your head. I don't know. I don't care what you're watching, okay, or what you see your friends do. No, in this home, you don't have conversations and roll your eyes. Yeah, what are you talking about? She was talking with her brother the other day. Yeah. But I said, oh, no, madam. no, come this way, come closer. No, we don't do that. We're decent people. You don't bring the mob mentality into the space. We're decent people. We have conversations. You only refuse, you show your what do you call it? It's a yes or a no. It's I accept or I don't accept. And if you do not accept, you give the reason why you are not accepting. At every point, we will have a conversation. At every point, we will have a conversation. I said, I noticed our son now, he's working and he's talking under his breath. Okay, something that he does. He's walking and he's talking under his breath. So I'm constantly asking him, what are you saying? What are you saying? So sometimes, and I've noticed recently, he does something and I'm actually, probably telling him how, it's not acceptable and all of that. He finishes and he's walking away and he's talking under his breath. Now, I know that he's someone that talks under his breath, even when he's having fun, when he's cooking, he's constantly saying, mumbling something that I don't know. But hey, I also know that, I grew up where parents talk and children mumbled and grumbled and all of that. And I cannot separate it. I know that you're always saying something under your breath. But if I finish talking to you and you go, I'm going to take it that you are grumbling. And I know that you don't do that. So you will have to adjust this, your thing, and deal with it. What are you even saying every time under your breath? So you have to control yourself. When we have said we don't accept something, you have to control it and not do that. You're mumbling to yourself. You will not do it at that point because I don't know how to separate it and take it that you're not grumbling. All right? Because this is in you, right? So basically, if you're not setting, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, then they don't know these things, all right? So no, all the slangs and the gutter language that is out there, hey, choke, which one is acceptable in your home? The fact that your teenager wants to be a teenager doesn't mean that he's going to bring every gutter language from the school, from his class, from outside into your home. Okay, you're not going to accept that. So what is acceptable? Which one can be used in your home? Which one is not acceptable in your home? So I say to them, we speak plain English. Speak plain English all the time in this home. We don't understand. Yeah, there are certain things that they will say, okay, them feeling woke and all of that. Provided it's something that is respectful, you can let it pass. But anything that I don't understand is not, don't use this here. Don't use it in this space. Okay? So set the standard for how your children can respond. All right. So in our home, if you do not agree with something, and I'm talking about it, or we're talking about it, especially if the adult is talking about it from a place of, the adult is really upset. Our children have learned to say, I have something to say, mommy, and all of that. They've learned to say that I'm sorry, I have something to say. Now, when you say that, I'm sorry, I have something to say, it's the is the responsibility of the adult to be reasonable enough to get you or allow you to say what it is that you have to say. Now, you may be dealing with an adult at the time, you may be dealing with an adult at the time who is not able to control themselves at that time to listen to you. But what is it? You have not just kept quiet, like, okay, you have been subdued. You have said, I'm sorry, I have something to say. At least you know that the adult knows that you have something to say. So it is up to them to give you the opportunity to say that thing or not. But you are not pushing, you are not arguing, you are not showing as if, okay, me too, I have a right. At that time, you are respectfully saying, I have something to say. Now, the adult is not in the place to listen to you at that time, or is not a very reasonable adult, will probably go and they finish, and you're like, I'm really sorry about this. And if it's time for you to go, you can actually go. So, but we teach them to wait for a time when this person is in a better place, and then you can come and say, I'm so sorry about what happened earlier, but there's something I wanted to say, and I don't know if you'll be ready to listen to me. Okay, we're teaching teach these children how to, to live today and, beyond today. Okay, to live today and beyond today. We've seen people who have gotten into serious problem trying to express themselves because the other person felt the way they were trying to express themselves was disrespectful. All right, so teach them how to keep their calm in all situations, but not allow themselves to be coward, or not allow their voices to be taken from them. I'm sorry, sir, I have something to say if it's okay. I'm sorry, sir, I have something to say if it's okay. So it's not, but me too. Yeah, what I'm trying to say, you didn't. You need to, okay? Teach your children to show people respect and then to demand to be respected. Now, this is what you are teaching them at home right now, okay? Now that they are young and they are with you. All right? Now, the last one, I've given you 4, right? Yep, the last one is now teach your children how not to assume that people know how they want to be respected. How not to assume that everybody has sense at their level, right? Because as I said earlier, it's not proud, it's not pride. We're not proud, okay? It is self-preservation. As Coach Reddy says, it is self-preservation, really. Okay, and so I say to my children every time, when you walk into a room, tell yourself that in this room, the first 3 people in this room who who are smart, who are reasonable, who have their heads in the right place, I am amongst those first 3 people. If you walk into a space, tell them. If there's only 1% of people who have their heads in the right place, you are in that 1%. So if you walk into a space and there are 10 people, tell yourself, I'm amongst the 3 people in this space who've got it together. So at every point, you know this, there isn't anybody in that room that is not approachable. There isn't anybody in that room that you cannot talk to respectfully. There isn't anybody in that room that would allow you drop your values, drop your boundaries, okay, and then take up theirs. No, everybody in that room basically is approachable, okay? Yes, respect will be given to the people. Honor will be given. Honor is a big skill comes top, okay? Honor comes really high on our set of family values. And we know how to honor people for different reasons, okay? You honor people, give honor to whom honor is due, okay? But at no point should you think that there is any human being in this world that should take your voice away. It is not being proud, okay? It is knowing who you are. All right, so let them know that It is not okay that you just assume that people know. Tell them about your boundaries and then tell them what you would do if that boundary is disrespected. So, for instance, when I was saying to my friend, I don't want you calling me a bastard or a fool. Okay, so I can say to her the first time, okay, you say that a lot, I've noticed. Please don't use it to me, it doesn't go well with me. I don't like it. Now, the next time she says it, you say to her, if you use that one more time, I'm going to walk away from here. Okay, I'm going to walk away from here and I will not give you a chance to talk to me like that again. So, let them place their standard and let them be able to do what it is. Let them have the action that follows the disrespect of that standard. Remember, I said to you, if you walk into the shop and the conflict has, say, $2 on it, or it has like 3,000 or whatever on it. If you do not have money to buy it, what do you do now? You just turn and then you walk on, isn't it? It's as simple as that. You cannot pay it, you cannot pay for it, or you do not need it, or you think it's too pricey. What do? You walk away. So it's simple. So you say to them, don't touch me that way. If you try it, I'm going to walk away from here. It's as simple as this. Don't do that to me in this relationship. If you do it, I am going to walk right out of it. Let them understand your boundaries that way. And let your children understand this. This is what they will need today to be able to put themselves on the same, in the same place with people who share their kinds of values, people who understand and who respect their boundaries, so that a lot of the things that will become problems in their relationship later are dealt with from the very beginning, because we all understand, or we both understand, or we all understand our boundaries, the lines, where to cross and where not to cross. Okay, so these are very important. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking to you, or I'm going to be teaching you about how to help your children create boundaries when it comes to their bodies, body boundaries, okay, boundaries in their relationships and their friendships, what boundaries you need to create, okay, in your friendships, basically, and relationships, so that it is established from day one. What boundaries they need to create when it comes to their academics, okay, the academic life, what boundaries you have that cannot be crossed. Because some of these boundaries, it's not just for other people not to cross them. These boundaries are boundaries that your children set for themselves already, so that even they cannot break these boundaries. Okay, remember we said the boundaries become your standards, okay, and they help you to live a balanced life. For instance, our son already has a boundary. He already has his boundary, or does he call it now? His no. Like, basically his boundary where it comes to dating, for instance. He already knows his commitments, right? He already knows what commitment or what pledge I was looking for. So he already knows his pledge for when he would date in his life. He's already fixed that. He's 13 and he already knows, he already has his pledge. He already has his own purity pledge also. He's written that down. He already knows it. I didn't write it for him. I didn't decide it for him and all of that. He already has put all of those in place. Now, these are boundaries. These are boundaries that you are setting even for yourself. And it's important that we get our children to that space. All right? So, we're doing this with the children in the mastermind. We're going to be talking boundaries for the entire month. Okay, that's what we're doing with the kids in the mastermind. We're working with them. We're going to grind them on this. Okay, so this week we're looking at them boundaries in their relationships. That we're doing. With this week and all that. Last week, they got to know themselves, okay? They got to know themselves, how they learn, what makes them happy, what they can accept, what they don't accept. So this week, they are going to be looking at their values and then how they can use those values to set boundaries in their relationships with their friends. We do this. And this is why I always ask, why are your children not in the mastermind? You have children that are 6 and 14. They are not in the mastermind. Where are they? They are missing like crazy, okay? Because what we do in the mastermind, we don't leave you alone to figure these things and run these things. Okay, we do that thing. You know how once you have heard it, okay, a second time it's been confirmed. When your children hear something and then another voice is reiterating what you have been trying to establish or what you have been trying to teach them, it becomes confirmed that okay, this thing is just not, it's not just my parents trying to be there, quote and unquote. All right, apart from that, we are an accountability group. So what you do a lot of times as parents, sometimes consistency is an issue. But what we do here is we try to hold your children accountable. And then look at it this way, it's double barrel. You are doing your part. Some other person is working with you, okay, to do, double, give them, back to back. They're getting it from two sides. Then apart from that, the mastermind is a place where your children are motivated to start motivating themselves. Okay, motivation is a spectrum. Okay, the children need to move from a motivation to the point where they become determined. So what we do in the mastermind, we gradually help them to build self-motivation on that spectrum until they get to the point where they can motivate themselves without external influence or without you shouting and screaming and jumping around. We have children who come in at the beginning of the circle. They are not doing anything on their own. By the time they've stayed 5-6 months, you see them able to, do a lot of things on their own without people chasing them to do it. All right. So very, very important. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Now, wow, I actually did 1 hour again, almost. All right, I gotta go right now. Thank you very much. I hope you got value from this session. If you did, please put it right there in the comment section. Let's know you got value. If you have any questions to ask, let us know that you have questions, okay, that you want us to answer. Okay, in this month, we have a lot of things lined up. So this is our anniversary month. So we want you to look out. Our anniversary is on the 20th of this month. We want you to look out. We have a lot of free, a lot of discounts in our programs. We'll have discounts in our programs, so look out for them so that you don't miss the bonuses that will be coming your way, okay, during the anniversary. Very, very important. Apart from that, we have a full mentorship program. We have a program where you can actually, you have a child that you're struggling with, you have a child that is struggling, a child who's struggling in any aspect of their life. You want us to mentor them during the summer. You want us to do a short mentorship program with them. Okay, we have a program like that, from setback to success. Okay, in the past it was just a short program, but we're making it more robust this time. Okay, where we would mentor your child one-on-one. So for parents who have been asking, oh, can you work with me, can you mentor me? When we work with your children, we automatically work with you also. So that's the only time that we work with parents whose children are working with us. So we extend what we are doing to you because you have your children under our tutelage. All right, so you can enroll your child for this 4 weeks program with me, and then we can take it, from there and help them turn a challenge into a super, super, super thing. All right, so thank you. Did I say 4 weeks? Sorry, 2 weeks. All right, so thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. I've just had thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Chidima. Bye-bye. Bye.